wanna fly high up to the sky. I'm living in the mountains. Everybody know the soil so fertile. If a man sit down naked, the seeds might grow. A delightful getaway from the hustle, bustle and tricks. Oh, what a natural fix if you don't like to mix with the politics. One issue I have to resolve. If I could sort it out, all problems solved. Every time I plant corn and it start to shoot, some idiot keep forking it out the root. Make country flowers in there, fork it up. Make country produce in there, fork it up. Country start to blossom. I don't know who or where they come from. Me blind neighbor say he saw a man resembling one of the politicians. I wasn't there, so I didn't see exactly who talking up me country. Riding on me donkey, transportation bliss. Me fireside bubbling a goodie. I hear rioting in the gas crisis. Surrounded by wild animals. What a vicious pack. But none of them does launch an attack. None of them poison us like invert and sap. The hunt always on, I could say that much. And true, can switch it off like crime watch. My mission now is to put a stop to whosoever fucking me country up. Some say a man named Eric, George, Robbie and Patrick. Some say Capildeo, Fadis, Kamla Basteo. Old man Bedu said they said nothing new. They fucking up long before 1962. If Butler was around, he might have tell we directly who fucking up me country.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rebuttal. I'm Douglas Wattley, your host. This is the voice of the underdog. As usual, I want to say shout out to all my ardent listeners, and I always like to shout out those who I know never miss a show. Tonight, I want to single out my advisor and cousin and friend in Toronto, Malcolm Hamilton. Just want to say, I know you're at work right now. I know you always want to take a break when the show comes on. You have your speaker charged and ready. And so I just want to say, hail to Malcolm up there in Toronto, Canada. If you are in St. Kitts, Nevis, or if you are in the St. Kitts Nevis diaspora, I want to say good evening to you all and welcome to the show. The Rebuttal is more than a year old now. We used to be going for 2 hours before the election, and now since the election, we are only going for an hour. I know a lot of you have been complaining that the hour is up too quickly and that I should contemplate either going for an hour and a half or back to the 2 hours. And I've been contemplating it. I can't promise you that I could do 2 hours or that I could do 2 hours every Wednesday. But I also agree that by the time the hour is up, I'm still rearing to go. I still have things that I have not addressed, and I should want to go for a little bit longer. So we may experiment, maybe not this evening, but we may experiment with trying to go for an hour and 15. But I also am cognizant of the fact that the radio station has to fit me into a program time slot. I cannot dictate to them how I should be presented, whether it's an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes, or 2 hours. So I would have to be guided by the powers that be at the radio station. But it's always good for me to get the opportunity to share with you. I hope that I am still able to share information with you which you find interesting and which you find enlightening. And that is why I do what I do. Plus, it gives me a break. I need a break from the monotony of some of the work that I'm doing, and because a lot of it is writing. I should tell you at this point in time that I am writing a couple of books, not fiction, but a couple of subject matter books. As we speak, my first book, which I want to publish sometime in September, my first book, which is captioned or titled Strategic Planning for Practitioners, is a how-to guide for persons who want to acquire the skills and the knowledge of strategic planning or planning in general. And I have some experiences in that. I have been doing some training in that area. And so I've decided to put my learning down on paper and offer it in book format so that persons can learn on their own. Maybe I don't have to come into a classroom and conduct a training. I'm also, as we speak, preparing the training that I used to do in person, in classrooms. I am now preparing that to move my training online, because you recognize that with the COVID-19, I'm not now able to go to Trinidad and have my training in a classroom setting or anywhere else, even in St. Kitts. I had been doing training for the last 10 years, and I have to big up TDC because they have kept me employed for the last 10 years, where I have done training and some consultancies over the last 10 years since I retired from government. And so I am now trying to move my work online, which gives me a much bigger audience. My audience now becomes the world at large. And so that is what takes up my time. Just in case some of you thought that I was just pining away in a corner and twiddling my thumbs. No, I have been doing some writing. I have been doing writing for a lot of years. I have a lot of stuff that I have written, that I have just waiting to be used. And I've now decided that that is what I will do. And I look forward to really sharing what I've been working on with the rest of the world. Now, I want us to reflect on a couple of things. And some of them are ironies, but I want us to reflect on them anyway. One, let's look at this. Keon has had a water problem before the election. Some people would like to tell you that the water problem has gone way back. That is true, but there had been strategies to ameliorate the problem time and time again. This last iteration of the problem has only been recognized in the last couple of years. And it would have fallen to this government. Because remember, this present government is not a new government. It is a continuation of a government that we have had since 2015. So the problem as you have it right now should have been fixed by this government. The member of parliament, who isn't a new member, he had been there not just since 2015, he had been there since 2010. He did not make any promise to fix this problem before the election. And that's because he didn't care. And he was able to get away with it because you didn't care whether or not he cared. The people of Keyon voted overwhelmingly for Eugene Hamilton. And after his victory, he has not given any signals that he would be any different than he had been for the last 5 years as representative of Keyon. After his victory, he has still not said to you how he would go about fixing the water problem. In fact, he had 2 town halls, and he chose to have those town halls in villages other than Keyon, knowing that Keyon is the one with the immediate problem, a problem that people need to know about. They need to know where they stand. Yet he has not come to Keyon to explain to them what the plan is. But hear this. The water situation in Keyon will present a problem to the people of Keyon for months to come, if not years. And here's why. Because any solution that you are going to undertake right now will take time. If you are going to drill wells, it's going to take time. If you are going to build reservoir, it's going to take time. But this is where I tell you, you get what you vote for. You get what you vote for. Now, notice I didn't get vexed when some of you in Keyon abuse me, you know. Me not get vexed. Me not vexed with you. Because when I said vote against Gene, is because I know who Gene be. And ain't nobody gonna tell me to vote for somebody who I know ain't got the interest of my community at heart. So I cannot shame me. Now, I recognize that I don't have to suffer from the lack of water in Keyon. I don't have to. I have options. I have activated my options. So I don't have to go through that. I don't have to live with the consequences of having a member of parliament who don't care. You voted for him. Don't blame me. I had the good sense to vote for Labour and for Dr. Jew. And you vote for him. Keyon graduation, and he can't even, Keyon primary school graduation, and he can't even show up for the graduation. But Jew is there. Sure, Jew left to go to another engagement in Keyon. He split the time, but Eugene can't come and show his face at the graduation. But you vote for that. You vote for that, not me. Is you vote for that. And voting has consequences. You knew the consequences, but you want to abuse me because you think that I'm wrong to vote against a fella who from Keyon. What the hell I care about that if the fella from Keyon don't care about people in Keyon? That ain't how me grow up. You all well know that. Them things they never... Look, when I was voting against Sidney Morris, a lot of people in Keyon stopped talking to me. But I well know that Sidney Morris didn't deserve the vote of the Keyon people. Yet you all go out and vote for him. So, don't blame me. Me vote for Gene. You vote for him. So I can take what he gives you all, which has been nothing. When Gene been in the 60s, Gene was lazy. Gene not take on oil. Now Gene getting ready to go into the 70s. I think all of a sudden Gene gonna get a whole heap of energy. Like my partner in Canada said. Gene right now is like a cardboard cutout of Eugene Hamilton. You just got to get these cardboard cutout and put them up in different places in Kayan, because that's all you're gonna see of Gene. And that is as active as Gene gonna ever get, like a cardboard cutout. Good for nothing. I'm gonna take a break and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna continue the conversation.
I love being in the latest style and dress fine, or should I say classy. That is why I shop at First Class next to the taxi stand at Port Sante for fine gold and silver jewelry in precious, semi-precious and colored stones, diamonds and crystal watches, and the hottest handbags and wallets. And when I want to buy a gift for someone, that's easy too. I just ask them to make me a gift basket, and First Class has the best prices at Port Sante. So no matter what the occasion, come on into First Class and leave happy, knowing you've gotten the best deal for your money. It's First Class at Port Sante, where quality, low prices, and top-notch service are second to none.
Spread the word. New and exclusive every Sunday from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Gospel Cafe with Carl D. Springate on KYSS FM 102.5. Tune in and connect with the Holy Ghost Connection with live interviews, Christian news, what's hot and what's not in the now. Birthdays and anniversary shout-outs available, Bible Jeopardy, Beyond the Pulpit, and positive entertainment and ministry. Testimonies and the pastor's moment with Spread the Word. So tune in as we drop the latest gospel hits, 100% black. It's the Carl D. Springate Gospel Cafe, Sundays from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KYSSFMonline.com and 102.5 FM. And be blessed like that.
One fashion accessories for really low prices. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Beauty supplies and weave, genuine fragrances. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Handbags so beautiful, your friends will envy how you look. With perfume to smell just right, you'll feel like you're in paradise. Watches, silver jewelry, and hair accessories. Check silver and cents in the Amri Mall on Keon Street.
Ready or not, hear my clothes, you can't hide. I'm gonna find you and make you want me.
Ain't nobody tell me nothing. Can't tell me nothing.
I'm Shaniel Francis.
And I'm Dijon Webb.
Kyssfm 102.5 is proud to announce its brand new morning show, Backchat, the only place to hear the hottest music.
From local
Check me area code, me area code. Anywhere me go, you know me touch the
to international.
Ay, I go shopping, want it then I cop it. Ay, yeah, bitches popping, I do what they copy.
and have you informed with a range of topics.
tell me nothing.
So on Mondays to Fridays, tune in at 8 to 11.
Tell me nothing.
You won't want to miss the vibes on
Backchat.
Ready or not, hear my clothes.
I wanna fly high up to the sky. I'm living in the mountains. Everybody knows the soil so fertile. If a man sit down naked, the seeds might grow. A delightful getaway from the hustle, bustle and tricks. Oh, what a natural fix if you don't like to mix with the politics. One issue I have to resolve. If I could sort it out, all problems solved. Every time I plant corn on and it start to shoot. Some idiot keep forking it out the root. Make country flowers in it, fork it up. Make country producing it, fork it up. Country start to blossom. I don't know who or where they come from. Me blind neighbor say he saw a man resembling one of the politicians. I wasn't there, so I didn't see exactly who talking up me country.
Welcome back to the Rebuttal. I'm Douglas Wattley, your host. Now, we were told that somewhere in the region of 10,000 plus persons applied for the income assistance from Social Security. I don't know the true numbers. What I do know is that a lot of people are hurting and a lot of people were laid off. Most of these persons who were laid off are from the hotel industry. More than 600 persons from Marriott's were laid off, and another large number from Park Hyatt and from the Four Seasons in Nevis. But the tourism industry in general has taken a hard hit. All right? So what we know is several thousands of persons are without income or on reduced income. And that is why you find that it's the persons in the tourism industry, tourism and related industries, they are the ones who are crying bloody murder. They are the ones who are crying foul. They are the ones who are saying open up the borders. Now, I'm going to save that argument about opening up the border for a little bit, but I want to talk about what is clear as day. A plan by the government to rob its citizens, those especially from the Marriott. The government is trying to thief you all. It's trying to take all your money. They're trying all kind of nuanced way to avoid paying you your severance. Part of the reason they don't want to pay you your severance is because the severance fund has always been under supported. If you look every year since this government has been in power, and I suspect that before this government has been in power as well, but if you look, you would notice that the severance fund has always been at a deficit because it has always had to pay out more money than it was taking in. Two sets of money come out. Severance pay for persons who are terminated from jobs, persons who are made redundant, right? And another set of money comes out for the long service gratuity. It is quite possible that in any given year, between $5 to $10 million come out of the severance. But on average, maybe about $7 million go into the severance fund. We have had years where $10 million come out of the severance fund. And we're talking about in the last couple of years. So people have always been getting severance pay. Only this year, now when people need the severance, you're telling them they can't get it. You are telling them, hold on. Now let me ask you all a question. When do you believe the Marriott would be up at full strength? Because it has to be up at full strength for all of you who have been laid off for more than 12 weeks to have an expectation of going back to the Marriotts. Now, if the Marriott is up on only a fraction of its strength, then it doesn't need all of you. So the question is, if Marriott takes back 200 persons and 400 of you are at home, but you have been bamboozled and you did not take your severance, what's going to happen? What if Marriott stays at a fraction of its strength for 2-3 years and you never go back? Are you going to still get your severance? Don't take my chances, you know. Marriott ain't coming back to full strength right now. It ain't happening. Can't happen. Me not ask you. Me tell you. I have said to you guys, go and get expert advice and move from there. Make it a group action. It's like a class action, right? So that you guys could be thing. Nowhere the Marriott gonna be back to full capacity, to where it needs all of you. Nowhere. And like I said, the government said, that it was gonna put $12 million in the severance. Well, I'm telling you, $12 million isn't enough. They have to put closer to $20 or $25 million in the severance. That is what they're running away from. That is what they don't want to do. That is why they are not trying to cause you to collect your severance. Because look at it. Nevis and the Four Seasons went about it differently. What the Four Seasons did was it paid its employees. And then only now that it find it difficult to continue to pay them, given that they don't have any revenue coming in, right? Only now they are putting their people on the 12 months layoff. And so the people in Nevis are not going to need severance until the 12 weeks would be up. Did I say 12 months? No, I meant 12 weeks would be up, right? And so in St. Kitts, their 12 weeks was up since in June. They should have already been processed for their severance. Nevis got to wait for a while. But in St. Kitts, nobody paid you. The meager couple of dollars that you get from Social Security cannot be considered payment to you. And so your service has been technically discontinued. And you were supposed to get paid. But if you want to give Timothy a gift and don't take your money, that's up to you. Timothy gonna get his, right? And Timothy family gonna get his, right? So you could stop there with all your stupidness. That's nonsense. And you read in the document, you see them playing with words, especially when you read that one from Marriott. They're playing with words because they're trying to see now if the 12 weeks that they gave you, right, could consider that you were laid off, in the sense that after that you are going to get your gratuity. They don't want that to count, right? Nevis could make that argument, but Marriott can't make that argument. And I don't understand, because then Marriott's paying the gratuity, the severance. It's government paying the severance. All Marriott got to do is say, okay, you guys are terminated, right? And I personally believe that after the 12 weeks, if you're not taken back, termination is automatic. And so you all should be able to go to the Labor Department and demand your severance. But I love Tim, so I'm going to take some knockback. And if that be the case, you're on your own, be my guest. I can't deal with you on that matter. I honestly cannot drink no bush tea for people who are not interested in looking out for their own interests. You got to understand that things are going to get much worse before it starts to get better. And you also got to recognize that the country was in a recession even before this disaster. And so you can depend on Team Unity to bring this country back to any great extent, because it was never great. They have not run this country well. And so now I want to know what you're going to do. Every year, people have been getting the severance. When you look at the severance fund, 1 year 7 million come out, next year 5 million come out. And every year people have been taking the long service gratuity, 4 million here, 2 million there, right? But now all of a sudden, when you need it, when you deserve it, when you qualify for it, they don't want you to get what is rightfully yours. They want to bamboozle you. But you're only fooled if you allow yourself to be fooled. And so I'm going to talk to you after this break on a different subject. Me done with this issue with marriage. You're all kind of on your own from here on out. Talk to you.
I love being in the latest style and dress fine, or should I say classy. That is why I shop at First Class next to the taxi stand at Port Sante for fine gold and silver jewelry in precious, semi-precious and colored stones, diamond and crystal watches, and the hottest handbags and wallets. And when I want to buy a gift for someone, that's easy too. I just ask them to make me a gift basket, and First Class has the best prices at Port Sante. So no matter what the occasion, come on into First Class and leave happy, knowing you've gotten the best deal for your money. It's First Class at Port Sante, where quality, low prices, and top-notch service are second to none.
Spread the word. New and exclusive every Sunday from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Gospel Cafe with Carl D. Springate on KYSS FM 102.5. Tune in and connect with the Holy Ghost Connection with live interviews, Christian news, what's hot and what's not in the now. Birthdays and anniversary shout-outs available, Bible Jeopardy, Beyond the Pulpit, and positive entertainment and ministry. Testimonies and the pastor's moment with Spread the Word. So tune in as we drop the latest gospel hits 100% flat. It's the Carl D. Springate Gospel Cafe, Sundays from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KYSSFMonline.com and 102.5 FM. And be blessed like that.
One fashion accessories for really low prices. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Beauty supplies and weave, genuine fragrances. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Handbags so beautiful, your friends will envy how you look. With perfume to smell just right, you'll feel like you're in paradise. Watches, silver jewelry, and hair accessories. Check silver and cents in the Amri Mall on Deon Street.
Ready or not, hear my clothes, can't hide. Gonna find you and make you want me.
Ain't nobody tell me nothing. Can't tell me nothing.
I'm Shaniel Francis.
And I'm Dijon Webb.
Kyssfm 102.5 is proud to announce its brand new morning show, Backchat, the only place to hear the hottest music.
From local
Check the area code, the area code. Anywhere me go, you know me touch the
to international,
Ay, I go shopping, want it then I cop it. Ay, yeah, bitches popping, I do what they copy.
and have you informed with a range of topics.
tell me nothing.
so on Mondays to Fridays, tune in at 8 to 11.
Tell me nothing.
You won't want to miss the vibes on
Backchat.
Ready or not, hear my clothes.
I wanna fly high up to the sky. I'm living in the mountains. Everybody knows the soil so fertile. If a man sit down naked, the seeds might grow. A delightful getaway from the hustle, bustle and tricks. Oh, what a natural fix if you don't like to mix with the politics. One issue I have to resolve. If I could sort it out, all problems solved. Every time I plant corn and it start to shoot, some idiot keep fucking it out the root. Make country flowers in it, fuck it up. Make country producing it, fuck it up. Country start to blossom. I don't know who or where they come from. Me blind neighbor say he saw a man resembling one of the politicians. I wasn't there, so I didn't see exactly who talking up me country.
Welcome back to the Rebuttal. I'm Douglas Wattley, your host. Things are not good in St. Kitts and Nevis. In fact, things bad. But I personally don't know how badly things have become because, I'm not affected, so to speak. I'm not affected right now. But I know I have families, I have friends, and I know you all who listen to the program, you're there. And so I have to empathize. I have to try and walk a mile in your shoe. You see, like I said, when I was telling you that this government is not the ideal government for a time like this, it was in part because for the last 5 years, they didn't run the government that well. In 2017, the government dipped into a recession. We had just about minus 3% growth, if you could have a minus growth, right? And that was moving from a height of 6.28% in 2014. So we were already in a bad place before the virus hit. We are not climbing out anytime soon, not the way this government conducts its affairs. This government has never been able to drum up the type of economic activity that you need to thrive. And right now, where we are, the government is dependent on a strategy, a policy that was developed by Denzel Douglas, or should I say, tweaked by Denzel Douglas. And that's the CBI, the Citizenship by Investment. That's the only place where anything positive going to happen, especially now that we practically giving away the passports. We selling passports like you're going out of style. Because that's the way you're going to get a little bit of money. But where I have my problem with St. Kitts and Nevis is that the government, Nevis Island administration, and the federal government are not inclined to be upfront and honest with the people. And so you're not telling the people the truth, where we stand. St. Kitts is in a little better position than Nevis. But the question is for how much longer St. Kitts can hold out. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. Now let's look at Nevis first and foremost. In Nevis, Nevis has estimated that it would take in somewhere in the region of $139 million in its regular revenue generation schemes. And then it says it would take in about $30 million in budgetary support from the St. Kitts Nevis government, from the federal government. Now, I don't know if it has yet gotten that $30 million. But I want you to look at it. And I've said this before. $139 plus million plus 30, that's about $170 million. So the government of Nevis had proposed that it would bring in $170 million in this year. But now we are saying that it looks like it has taken about a 50% hit in its revenue generation, which means if you cut that in half, you're talking about somewhere in the region of $85 million that the government of Nevis is to take in. And that's taking into account that they get their money from St. Kitts. That amounts to about $7 million a month in revenue. And remember, revenues don't always come in a regular stream. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. All right? Now, in Nevis, salaries are about $58 million, if I'm not mistaken. Salaries and wages. No, that's salaries alone, is $58 million. And wages is about $26 million. So that's about $84 million in expenditure, which amounts to about $7 million a month in expenditure. So Nevis is taking in about $7 million and paying out about $7 million. And I say paying out $7 million, but you have to recognize that I have only counted 2 items of expenditure. I ain't even count the payment that has to go to pension. So the pensioners, me ain't count them. Even though that's a non-discretionary spending, you got to pay pensioners the money. Now somebody was tickling me today and say pensioners might not be getting the money on time and all kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, you can't touch pension before you touch anything else. So whatever else you got to cut, and whoever else you got to cut, you got to keep your pensioners funded, because pensioners are already on a restricted income, and you can't be taking away their money and be spending money on other things that could and should be cut first, right? I digress. What I'm telling you is that Nevis is not in such a hot position, because when you think about it, Nevis has an overdraft already of about $130-something million. If it might be more by now, right? And Nevis has a debt to service of about $400-something million, nearly half a billion dollars. Nevis ain't in a good place. It's not in a good place. And so, like my friend in Canada told me today, he said, Mark might soon have to set up a GoFundMe page for Nevis. And he gonna expect the people who weren't allowed to come home to vote to contribute. Unless he's gonna get the money that he asks for from the CBI. And so I noticed that they have a meeting over in Cotton Ground tomorrow. And I just wanted you all to take down some questions that I think you should ask the Premier tomorrow. And the first question is this: how much reserve funds does the Nevis Island administration have in banks, and which banks are they? Now, in St. Kitts, there is what I call a reserve fund, where it has cash and cash equivalents in banks in St. Kitts. All right? Now, I want to know if Nevis has its own reserve and which bank it has it in. St. Kitts' own is in local banks and the ECCB. I don't know where Nevis keeps it, if it has. All right? Some in St. Kitts are interest-bearing and some are not. I don't know the situation in Nevis. But ask him if there's a reserve fund. Right? Now, ask him also how much of a hit has the revenue taken. Central Bank says that maybe about 50% of the revenue in the OECS have been cut. Well, is that the same with Nevis? So let him know, because you need to be able to run some calculations to see where you are, right? Ask him what is the size of the present overdraft. Like I said, in 2018, I think the overdraft was about $137 million. What is the size of the overdraft? Because that's also important. And remember, overdraft interest or something like 12% or something like that. So ask that question. Ask him how the Nevis Island administration is presently meeting its obligations. How is it paying for the daily operations? Right? Ask him how much money is the Nevis Island administration owed by the federal government for its share of the CBI. How much is it you think that Nevis is entitled to? How much you think you should get? Ask him what is the status of the effort to get that money. And what tactics is he using or would he use, right, in order to get the money that is due. And ask him what the overall strategy is to navigate and survive the present global recession over there in Nevis. Ask him those 8 questions and you'll get a good picture. If he answers you correctly, you'll get a good picture of where Nevis is at the present moment. I'm going to pause here, and then when I come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about the St. Kitts situation.
I love being in the latest style and dress fine, or should I say classy. That is why I shop at First Class next to the taxi stand at Port Sante for fine gold and silver jewelry in precious, semi-precious and colored stones, diamond and crystal watches, and the hottest handbags and wallets. And when I want to buy a gift for someone, that's easy too. I just ask them to make me a gift basket, and First Class has the best prices at Port Sante. So no matter what the occasion, come on into First Class and leave happy, knowing you've gotten the best deal for your money. It's First Class at Port Sante, where quality, low prices, and top-notch service are second to none.
Spread the word. New and exclusive every Sunday from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Gospel Cafe with Carl D. Springate on KYSS FM 102.5. Tune in and connect with the Holy Ghost Connection with live interviews, Christian news, what's hot and what's not, in the now. Birthdays and anniversary shout-outs available, Bible Jeopardy, Beyond the Pulpit, and positive entertainment and ministry. Testimonies and the pastor's moment with Spread the Word. So tune in as we drop the latest gospel hits, 100% flat. It's the Carl D. Springate Gospel Cafe, Sundays from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KYSSFMonline.com and 102.5 FM. And be blessed like that.
One fashion accessories for really low prices. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Beauty supplies and weave, genuine fragrances. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Handbags so beautiful, your friends will envy how you look. With perfume to smell just right, you'll feel like you're in paradise. Watches, silver jewelry, and hair accessories. Check silver and cents in the Amri Mall on Keon Street.
Ready or not, here I come, can't hide. Gonna find you and make you want me.
Ain't nobody tell me nothing. Can't tell me nothing.
I'm Shaniel Francis.
And I'm Dijon Webb.
Kyssfm 102.5 is proud to announce its brand new morning show, Backchat, the only place to hear the hottest music.
From local
Check the area code, the area code. Anywhere we go, you know me touch the
to international,
Ayy, I go shopping, want it, then I cop it. Ayy, yeah, bitches popping, I do what they copy.
and have you informed with a range of topics.
tell me nothing.
so on Mondays to Fridays, tune in at 8 to 11.
Tell me nothing.
You won't want to miss the vibes on
Backchat.
Ready or not, here I come.
I wanna fly high up to the sky. I'm living in the mountains. Everybody know the soil so fertile. If a man sit down naked, the seeds might grow. They're delightful, get away from the hustle, bustle and tricks. Oh, what a natural fix if you don't like to mix with the politics. One is you I have to resolve. If I could sort it out, all problems solved. Every time I plant corn and it start to shoot, some idiot keep forking it out the root. Make country flowers in it, fork it up. Make country produce in it, fork it up. Country start to blossom. I don't know who or where they come from. Me blind neighbor say he saw a man resembling one of the politicians. I wasn't there, so I didn't see exactly who forking up me country.
Welcome back to the Rebuttal. I'm Douglas Wattley. And we're going to close out about now. We got about 4 or 5 minutes to go. Did you guys listen to that interview by Lindsay and Jonell? You know, the audacity. Because essentially what he's saying, what these guys are saying is, hey, there's no need for us to resign because we were fraudsters before we were elected. The people knew we were bandits before they elected us. And they elected us. So now they're throwing it back in your face. We were bandits before. And you knew we were bandits. And for whatever reason, whether because you were paid or not, you voted for us. And so we are going to continue to be bandits. Whatever we do, we right because you don't accept us for what and who we are. That is what they were telling you. And so St. Kitts is not anymore a moral country, it would appear. You know, all these people who preach in churches can't come tell me nothing, you know. Let me deal with my God personally and privately. Because none of them could hold a candle of correctness to any one of us who are still moral and ethical in our day-to-day dealings. And so we have a system where your Minister of Education is found guilty of misappropriation of funds. Your Minister of Tourism is found guilty of a similar crime. But until I watch them, you know, watch them. Watch who they put in charge of whatever they put them in charge of. Watch them. Because I fully expect that they're going to be this bad. Because they have shown no contrition. So I fully believe they're going to be discharged. Their public comments are going to be taken into account. And they're going to be this bad. Right? And let me tell you something. That would probably mean that they cannot earn any income from their law firm. They themselves cannot practice law, and I don't think they would be able to earn from owning, or they would not be allowed to own a law firm. All right? I'm assuming that's what it is. Now, what that means is that these boys, you're asking these boys to live off of limited income. And they're not inclined to want to do that. And so watch who they are putting in charge. Because I consider them to be aiders and abettors. Facilitators, if you will. And so, but I'm going to tell them a little thing, you know. Don't trust Tim, you know. Because Tim is still in charge of customs. And if you think you could do certain things through the port and avoid customs, watch out. Watch out. Tim is still in charge of customs. On that point, I say nothing else. I ain't gonna say a thing else. But I am saying further that where we are in St. Kitts right now is we are left to look at the election petitions because those election petitions are going to tell us whether we are still a country of laws or if we are now a country of man. Because it's hard to hold a man because he's immoral. It's hard to hold a man because he's unethical. But it's not that hard to hold a man because he breaks the law. And if the law is clear, and if the opposition could prove that that law was broken by these men who prosecuted the election, then the court has to find against them. And they will now be considered criminals for having offered bribes and inducements to win the election. That is what I am waiting for. Because depending on how this thing goes, I give up. Whatever becomes of whatever in St. Kitts ain't gonna bother me one bit. Because we are going down a slippery slope. And the point of no return is coming up fast. And that point of no return is going to be those election petitions. And I believe in the courts. I will now have to believe that the lawyers carrying the case for Labour can make their case. And if they make their case, then I believe my faith in the society that raised me would be restored. And that is, again, the reason why the borders ain't open. Tim ain't gonna open no borders until he gets a feel in one way or the other of how the case gonna go with the election petition. He ain't gonna open no border because to open the border is to open the border to persons wanting to come in and vote. Tim ain't gonna do that. It worked for him in the first instance when he closed the border, and he expect it to work for him again. Tim not opening no borders. On that note, I want to say good night to you all. You all have a beautiful evening, and I'll talk to you next week, God willing. Take care, you all.
Let us address the situation in the Caribbean as follows. Listen up. We complain and complain all year long. We condone and promote all that's wrong. Some of us have all that we want, all that we can get, and we still want more. But I find we lack in spine and personal conviction, cause we seem to lose we head whenever there's an election. You get a little piece of money and entertainment to dry your tears. Then it's victimization and heavy taxation for 5 more years. So if you're tired getting burned and still you would learn, you have to stand and fight. Stand and fight. This is a democracy. You can't accept, it's called agree. You have to stand and fight. Stand and fight. You must believe in order to achieve. We
can't be meek and turn the other cheek. You know they ain't treating you right. Can't sit back and take it light, because they're flying you high like a kite. So stand up, stand up, stand up and fight. First in our land, they get all that they want on demand, while we disrespect our own, touting egos that are overblown with envy and greed. We are too quick to condemn each other, to suffer, to disagree with the leader. Dog, eat your supper. But just like the Berlin Wall, the biggest and the baddest go have to fall. Since we will not stoop to conquer, let them know, surely we will not crawl. If there's gold in the rock, you tired beg and you tired knock, what you gonna do? You got to stand and fight. Progress you want to see, a better life with prosperity, what you gonna do? You have to stand and fight. Stand and fight. Face the facts, no time to relax. While you wait, them old teeth going to the gate. Things blacker than midnight, frustration now reach a height. It's we the masses who have the might. So stand up, stand up, stand up and fight for your right. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. Paid to sing on anybody. Singing it as I see, as I feel it. I like the hard-working man can't find peace. Criminals have more guns than police. They terrorizing the tongue, hiding behind them politicians with no fear of jail. While justice seems only for a few selected, them criminals get promoted and respected. No accountability for the funds in the treasury. Yes, they openly spree on taxpayers' money while taxpayer belly empty. Murder! We are constantly used, being lied to and abused. We have to stand and fight. Stand and fight. All that we have to live, they can't take all while they make us give. We have to stand and fight. Stand and fight. Politics is very dirty tricks. They make us throw bricks. Now they're giving us plenty licks. I know they just don't care. We must demand we share. They treated we like blight. So stand up, stand